What's down, fam? It's your boy Slim South 504. Make sure y'all subscribe to Hooded Jude. You heard me? Let's go.
What's up, folks? This is Shano Barnes, and you already know this shit more than a game, man. You also already know that it's NOLA versus all y'all. And you also know that it ain't YouTube if you ain't subscribed to my dog, Hooded Jude. Come on, man, what are you waiting for? You already know. It's still Who Dat?
What up, family? This your boy DeRight, repping that Who Dat Nation all the way here in Florida. If it's YouTube, you gotta subscribe to my boy Hoodie Jude.
What's up, world? It's your boy Carlos Clayton. I'm the host of Uneducated Sports Talk. Subscribe to the big homie Hoodie Jude for everything New Orleans Saints. Who Dat?
Hey, this your boy, Dog 17, the host of the Keeping It Real Who Dat Sports Podcast. Just want to remind y'all, go ahead and subscribe to my homie Hoodie Juice channel. And like always, love.
What's good, guys? My name is Zach.
And I'm Nonfiction, and we are Real Fan Sports.
And you need to stop what you're doing right now. Hit that subscribe button and subscribe to your boy, Hoodie Juby.
Hoodie Juby.
What's good, Who Dat Nation, man? Woo, we got some stuff to talk about today, man. Tyrann, Mathieu, a.k.a. the Honey Badger, officially retiring today, man. Man, it's a shocker to me, but it is what it is. But make sure y'all grab a drink. Make sure y'all grab a snack. And let's talk some Saints football, baby.
Yeah, we in the zone, watch the Saints rise. Kellen Moore's game plan, yes, no surprise. Rashid Shaheed flying, catching that light. Chris Lawrence magic making defenses right. Hoodie Cube on the screen, we hype it up. Saints Nation stand tall, never gonna give up. Saints on a mission, watch them take flight. In the dome under lights, it's a beautiful night. Championship dreams, we're ready to score. With Hoodie Cube and the crew, we're wanting more. Demario Davis bringing a tackle heat. Cam Jordan rushing, can't escape defeat. Tyrann Mathieu lurking, he's a defensive ghost. New era in New Orleans, yeah, we want it the most. Touchdowns on the board, the crowd goes wild. Feel the energy surge like a hyped up child. Saints on a mission, watch them take flight. In the dome under lights, it's a beautiful night. Championship dreams, we're ready to score. With Hoodie Cube and the crew, we're wanting more. So here's to the Saints, let the victory blow. Red coast, we pop with the city and grow.
What's good, Who Dat Nation, man? It's your boy Hoodie Jude, and we are back with another live podcast. And for those who don't know, y'all will know, there's no YouTube without your boy Hoodie Jude, y'all. I hope everybody's having a great day today. I should be able to go back to work tomorrow. I got my message from my boss saying, as long as I'm feeling better and not having no symptoms or anything, I should be able to return to work tomorrow. So that's going to be amazing. Because I ain't having no, fevers or nothing like that. The only thing I'm having is just coughing up stuff. It's just regular, aftermath of everything. So, your boy should be back at work, which I'm happy about. Now, the one thing I'm not happy about, having to return to work tomorrow, knowing that my boy Tyrann Mathieu retired today. Everybody reported it all over social media. Tyrann Mathieu has officially retired. And I think Ross Jackson tweeted out as well today that he did just recently have a newborn baby. So that could be another reason why he's retiring as well, to be there for them. But man, shout out to Tyrann Mathieu on a great career he had. Playing for St. Aug, going to LSU, and then making it to the NFL, and choosing us as his last destination because he wanted to be home in Louisiana when he decided to do his retirement and stuff. So, shout out to Tyrann Mathieu, brother. You're gonna be one of the GOATs out there as a safety. Everybody's gonna remember your name. But let's go over a few things real quick about Tyrann Mathieu. But before we do that and go over some of his stuff from his career, I do want to give a special shout out to those who are watching already. Whether you're watching from YouTube or whether you're watching from the X's Twitter account. Shout out to all of y'all. I see Young City, Knife Ward in the chat. Who that to you, brother? I also see Jerry, the old freaking G in the chat. Who that to you, Jerry? We got Daniel as well. Who that to you, brother? And who that to everybody else that's tuning on in, watching. I see Coach Rudy just popped in as well. What's up, Coach Rudy? Shout out to you. But also, I'm gonna put the link in the chat for anybody that wants to join and give me their thoughts on Tyrann Mathieu retiring as well. But I'm about to give y'all some stats and everything of his career. So let's look at it. Alrighty. So you see it. He had like over 800 and something total tackles. 687 of those were solo. 45 tackles for loss. 11 sacks in his career, 36 interceptions, with 4 of those turning out to be touchdowns, 106 pass breakups, 7 forced fumbles, 8 fumble recoveries, 5 special teams stops, 3 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pro, and then 2010 All-Decade Team Pro. I think he's going to be a future Hall of Famer, man. He's definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame with all the stuff that he has. And he played for the Cardinals, the Texans, the Chiefs, and New Orleans Saints. So, man, I'm just shocked because I was like happy about the season because I was ready to see what Justin Reed and Tyrann Mathieu, 2 great veterans, safeties, what they were going to look like together. But he decided to retire, which means it's going to leave some openings, for younger guys, like a guy like Jonas Sanker, who we just drafted, right? Like Jordan Howden, so that's going to open up some holes for some of these other safeties that we have that are younger and is going to want to get some playing time. Well, Tyrann Mathieu ain't here, so this is the time to show us that you want to be here and show us that you want to take that next step to being one of the next best safeties on the team. But shout out to Tyrann Mathieu, y'all. Damn, bro. What a great career. I think he played, 12 years total in the NFL? 12 or 13 years, so it's an amazing accomplishment just to even last that long because not every NFL player lasts that long, So, shout out to Tyrann Mathieu, bro. Louisiana legend. Like I said again, I'm going to say it again. He went from St. Aug, got to play for LSU, and then finally got to retire and play for the Saints as well. That's probably everybody's dream as a kid, especially when they're living in, the Louisiana area. They want to play for their teams in their states. Most people love going to LSU. And after they go to LSU, they hope to play for the Saints one day, so they can play close to home and play in front of their friends and families, all the time. So I know it was a dream come true for him, and he did what he had to do. Also, I see OG Stone in the chat. Who that to you, brother? Also, I see my boy King Knapp in the building as well. Who that to you, brother? Live in the middle of a day. Yes, sir. Not tomorrow, though, because your boy will be back at work tomorrow, which is good. I got a message saying I can go back tomorrow, which is good. So, shout out to that, man. Shout out to me finally be able to go back. But I put the link in the chat for anybody that wants to come on and give me their thoughts of, Tyrann Mathieu being able to retire, making the decision to retire. But like Ross Jackson said on one of the Twitter pages, is that on one of his little tweets, he basically said that Tyrann Mathieu literally just had a newborn recently as well. So my guess is that he just wants to be there and, be able to be the dad now and retire from the sport that he loves. And, because I think he did everything he needed to do. He won a championship with the Chiefs. So he did his part. He won a ring. And he did whatever he had to do. He's gonna be a future Hall of Famer for sure. In my eyes, he's gonna be a future Hall of Famer, and the crazy part is, if you think about the Tyrann Mathieu, storyline of how he was kind of like in LSU, kind of going through it, like a trouble, kind of like going through some trouble and all that, and wind up, starting off his career with the Texans and kind of like, struggling, and wind up changing his career around when he went to the Cardinals and got to play with, former LSU safety, and I said safety, corner, Patrick Peterson. And Patrick Peterson basically kind of cursed him up as an older guy and, taught him how to stay out of trouble. And from there, Tyrann Mathieu grew as a person and, became that great player in the NFL. And, just became a better person, off the field as well. And, I hear a lot of different stories of people saying they got to meet Tyrann Mathieu legitimately, like in person and stuff. And I heard it's really cool. Everybody said he's chill, he's laid back, and supposedly he might be from the North Shore now. Like, I think he lives on the side of my lake, so we'll see if I ever run into him again. Since he is retired now, so he might be on the road a lot more, and I might be out and about and not be in different states playing football. So, shout out again to Tyrann Mathieu, man. And if y'all don't want to click the link and come on, that's totally fine. But at least put it in the chat. Let me know what y'all think is. Was y'all shocked? Was y'all not shocked of Tyrann Mathieu making a retirement today? I'm not gonna lie to you. It shocked me when it hit it. I was looking at my phone and saying, I got an alert. I'm like, is this real? Clicked on it and found out that he retired, and I was shocked because I'm like I was saying earlier, I was so happy to see Justin Reed come here, another Louisiana guy. And I said, two great safeties, Justin Reed and Tyrann Mathieu, playing together on the field. I said, I can't wait to see this. And, well, what happened was we don't get to see it because Tyrann Mathieu retired. But that's okay, man. You got a family to take care of. And I felt like you did enough, for yourself, for your family, and for the game of football to where you can hang those cleats up proudly. And I know you did everything you needed to do. You left a mark on this game. Not only did you leave a mark on this game, but you left a mark for all these people that are big fans of you and, that you are idol to. Especially in the Louisiana. Because there's a lot of people that would love to be just like you, be able to go from a high school in Louisiana to go play for a big college like LSU in Louisiana. And then eventually play in the NFL at a high level, and not only play at a high level in the NFL, but be able to come play for your home team as well that you grew up watching. The New Orleans Saints, that's just like a dream come true for any, young football player. Like I said, especially in Louisiana. It's just amazing. And I'm just happy for the man. He finally gets to be home with his family. And, like we said, he gets to be home with his newborn as well. So, again, man, I'm going to keep preaching and shout out to Tyrann Mathieu on a great football career. Go hang up those cleats proudly, brother, and take the next chapter in your life, whatever God's got planned for you and your family, man. And hope it's a bunch of blessings for you because you blessed a lot of us with the excitement of us being able to watch you play the game of football the right way. Also, I see Miss Dana in the chat. Who that to you, Miss Dana? Shout out to you. Haven't seen you in a minute. Who that to you? But, sorry, I'm just drinking some stuff, making sure I'm 100% for tomorrow. Again, making sure I'm staying hydrated. But, we're going to turn away from Tyrann Mathieu for a little bit. And we're going to talk about some stuff that I was talking about on yesterday's podcast, about players that I want to see make an impact, And we was all taking turns between me, Logan, Who Dat Davis, and my brother, Dolph Jackson. So we was all taking turns, right, on picking players that we want to see make a big impact. So I wasn't able to speak on every single person, but we was able to take turns and pick different players we wanted to talk about. So I just want to kind of go back and, touch up on that as well for y'all. So yesterday we was talking about the whole offensive line as a team. It's it's people we want to see make a big leap this year. Because like Kellen Moore says, Kellen Moore likes to win in the trenches. He is a person that likes to run the ball. That says, the only way to win a football game is to be in the trenches. So when you got to win the game in the trenches and all that, you got to have your boys, whether you're on the defensive line or whether you're the offensive line, you got to win at the battle right there at the front, protect your quarterback or get to the quarterback. So Fuaga, man, had a great season last year, a great rookie season, and I'm waiting to see him take off again because last year he took the left tackle spot. Now it looks like he's going to be moving to the right tackle spot, if I'm not mistaken, to take over where he used to play, and they're going to put Kevin Banks, I believe, at left tackle. Now, I believe they said Trevor Penning as well is moving from where he used to play when he first started in the league was left tackle. Then they moved him last year to right tackle, which he was finally adapting to, and now he's getting moved to left guard. So hopefully we can see a lot out of Trevor Penning playing at left guard, right? Now, another big name that we don't really talk about because he's more of a veteran that we need to see step up this year. And Hudat Davis talked about him a lot on his show and talked about it yesterday a little bit with me on my show. And that's Cesar Ruiz. We need to get Cesar Ruiz out there playing at elite level. When you look at his ranking, he's in the middle of the pack out of all NFL guards. So there's 60-something guards in the league that start in the lead, and he is like 30th. Like, he's in the middle of the pack. We need him to be better than that. We need him to be a top 15, guard in the NFL. We know Cesar Ruiz got the talent to do it, man. He just needs to put his mindset to it and, figure out how to play the best he can at that position, even though he's not used to being a guard. He's used to being, he came from college from a center. They moved him to guard, and he's just been playing guard ever since, So, those people on the line, those 3/4 people, Eric McCoy, I'm not even begging for. Eric McCoy is a great center, and I know he's going to do his job to protect the quarterback and do everything the right way. Now, we're going to stay on the offensive side and talk about some other people as well. But if there's anybody that y'all can think of that y'all think, needs to do better this year to make a bigger impact, please comment in the comments and let me know who do you see, who do y'all see being like a big impact this year. So like, just to name some people. Number one, Bub Means, bro. I want to see Bub Means, be that dog. Be that big physical wide receiver. That's what I'm looking for right now. Is these big physical wide receivers. Because, ever since Michael Thomas left, it's just hard to find a physical big body receiver. We have a guy like Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. Those are speedsters, really good route runners. But we need somebody that can be physical across the field and be able to throw the ball, to catch it, be that safety blanket, and also take some hits, and be able to get it up like Michael Thomas did. So Bub Means is somebody I'm looking to basically take a big step this year. Jerry, what's up? Feeling better, Jerry. Feeling better. I should be able to go back to work tomorrow, most likely, which is a good thing. I see Jartavius Nathan said Bud Means and Kendra Miller and Dallin Hooker. Oh yeah, for sure. Those are some people that I want to see make a big impact, especially Jartavius, Dallin Hooker. And the reason why I say Dallin Hooker is because this dude gave me, when I looked at him and I looked at his highlights, right, he kind of gave me a vision of, what you want to call it? He kind of gave me a vision of like a George Kittle. Kind of gave me flashes of George Kittle with the way he catches the ball, the way he just mean with it when he runs with it. It just kind of reminds me of a George Kittle kind of guy. But guess what? Kellen Moore is really good at using tight ends. He loves his tight ends. They even said they love Jawan Johnson. So after Jawan Johnson, who's going to step up behind him? Will it be Foster Moreau? Will it be Dallin Hooker? Will it be the 6th or 7th round pick that we drafted this year out of UCLA? Who will wind up stepping up to take that tight end 2 spot until Taysom Hill gets back, right? Until Taysom gets healthy and comes back. That's the real question. Who's going to come and hope is in those spots? But yes, Dallin Hooker is one of those guys that I can see taking a leap this year, making an impact, especially if Kellen Moore sees what I see in him, being maybe like the next George Kittle type of tight end for you. But before we continue on to tonight's plays, I got somebody waiting backstage to come hop on and talk with us. So I'm going to get his thoughts real quick on Tyrann Mathieu retiring, and then also we'll, continue talking about impactful, players that we need to see, people that we need to see make an impact this year. But y'all should know this guy already. He is the host of his own channel, and also, you better stand back, because there's a hurricane coming through. Doom, doom, doom. Hurricane Mike, what up, buddy?
What it do?
Hey, man, tell me, man, how you feel? What was your thing when you read it and it says Tyrann Mathieu has officially retired?
Well, look, so, alright, so, right, I was just minding my business, right, and I heard a ding go off on my phone. Now, usually that wouldn't be a big deal, because, I have notifications on for, like, YouTube stuff and Bleacher Report, so I'm like, okay, that's probably not a big deal. But then I'm thinking, and I'm like, but for some reason, my gut told me that something happened, that somebody, and I don't know what happened at the moment, but my gut told me something happened with the Saints, like someone retired or someone got traded, something happened. And I look and I'm like, Tyrann Mathieu retired, and look, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend to y'all like Tyrann Mathieu was the same player that he was in Arizona, Kansas City, because he wasn't. But what he was a leader, right? He was a guy that people wanted to follow. So just seeing that gone, especially with training camp just started, I heard he has a kid now and all, so I think that's probably had something to do with the retirement. But yeah, man, look, I'm not gonna pretend like he's the same Tyrann Mathieu that he was, but what he was a ball hawk. He was a guy that can make a play, and he's not scared to make a play. So it's just missing out every Sunday. It's gonna hurt, but it's just, we got to go into a new era, man. We just got to go into the new era with the guys that we got now. Sanker. Now, this is a chance to step up. Well, who's going to step up, though? Will it be Sanker? Will it be Howden? Someone's got to step up, We already know who Justin Reed is, but someone else has to step up alongside him.
Oh, for sure. To be honest with you, Justin Reed is going to be Justin Reed, like you said. We already know what he is and what he brings to the table. He kind of reminds me just of another Tyrann Mathieu, but this younger. Just a younger version of Tyrann Mathieu. But so with him, retiring and having Justin Reed step up now, the question is, who's going to be that next guy? Is it going to be Jordan Howden, who's going on his second or third season? Is it going to be a young guy like Jonas Sanker? Who's going to come and take that safety spot for us? That's the real question. If anybody in the chat knows who they think has a feeling for somebody that they think, let us know. By the way, I do see Dolph17 from the Twitter side. He said, keeping it real, Who That's Podcast. He said, what's up, Hoodie? What's up, Dolph? How you doing, brother?
What's up, Dolph?
Also, we got James in the chat. Who that to you, James?
What's up, James?
But, yeah. We got to miss Tyrann Mathieu. 100% I'm going to miss him. Like I said, he's a legend. And I said this earlier, and you can probably back me up on this. It's everybody's dream as a kid, especially if you're a football fan and, you play in high school football, at a place in Louisiana, and then your next step is hoping to play for a team like LSU, possibly, because it's another home college, one of the biggest colleges in the NFL, and it's in home, at Louisiana. And then from there, you want to hope, to be able to make an impact in the NFL. But not only in the NFL, you're hoping that possibly you can play for the New Orleans Saints, just because that was a team you was watching when you were growing up, because it's in Louisiana as well. So for him to play for, St. Aug and then go to LSU, then make an impact in the NFL and officially be able to play for the Saints, his home team that he was watching, that's probably, the best thing that ever happened for him. And I know that was a dream come true for him to actually play for his home state, and his home teams. So, I mean, now all he's doing now is just setting a foot, stamp right there for anybody who wants to follow in his footsteps, that wants to do the same thing, can play for Louisiana high school, wind up going to LSU, make an impact there, make it to the NFL, and then officially come back home. And, Justin Reed's showing that stuff to you, too. He didn't go to LSU, like a Louisiana college. But he wound up, coming back home to Louisiana as well. And I think we're starting to see that a little bit more in sports, where people coming back to their hometowns and play for their home teams, which is really cool to me. But what is your thoughts on that, being able to see a guy like Tyrann Mathieu play at all three levels in Louisiana. From high school to college to the NFL.
Well, yeah, well, Tyrann Mathieu is the definition of a hometown kid, right? He loves New Orleans. He just was the guy who grew up here and was watching Drew Brees every Sunday, watching, these high caliber guys, watching Reggie Bush every Sunday, watching Marcus Colson and looking at the screen. And he's like, man, I kind of want to do this in that same jersey. And obviously, he didn't choose where he got drafted to. But he was able to choose. LSU wanted him. He wanted LSU, so they went to So he went to LSU, made a name for himself, got drafted by the Arizona Cardinals, and then bounced around from team to team until finally he was able to come back home. And like like you said, it's every kid's dream. I understand. Look, there's sometimes where it might be best not to go back, depending on like where you are, like if the team doesn't fit your scheme or whatnot. But Tyrann Mathieu is everything that New Orleans was. He was dedicated. He was a leader. He was just Tyrann Mathieu. Like Tyrann Mathieu was Tyrann Mathieu. He didn't pretend to be a different guy. You knew who Tyrann Mathieu was. Like I'm not like I did not have the privilege of watching him real time at LSU, but I knew he was at LSU, and then coming to New Orleans, getting his ring with Kansas City, then coming over to the Saints, I feel it was just he just didn't have anything else to prove at that point. So he was able to ride off into the sunset with everything that he's accomplished. And if I was Tyrann Mathieu, I would feel accomplished with what he's done.
Oh, for sure. Who that to you, JT? I see you popping in. He said, "I told you, one more is next." Yeah, Cam Jordan's gonna eventually be next, but Cam Jordan said he's gonna want to play in that gold jersey before anything.
It's either Cam or DeMario. It's probably going to be either Cam or DeMario that retires. I think Kamara maybe still has like 2 to 3 years left.
Yeah, Kamara's going to be here still. The next person that's going to retire would definitely most likely be DeMario or Cam Jordan. But to be honest with you, if I had to pick out of those two, I'll pick Cam because DeMario seems like he's a little bit better in shape than Cam Jordan is.
Yeah, I would pick Cam too because also DeMario's openly said that he wants to play at least 3 more years. Now, will he do that? We don't know, but he's basically said he wants to still be here long term. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then Cam Jordan, and you know what makes me get the feeling that he's gonna be the next one out of here soon, is him being able to be the one to introduce the gold jersey. Because remember, he's been preaching it for the last few years that he wants a gold jersey before he retires. And this year they finally gave him the gold jersey. So I feel like after this season, this would be the season he would hang up the boots, I think, after this year. Unfortunately, he'll have to hang it up without getting a ring with us.
I mean, hey, you never know. Some magic could happen,
Right? I mean, some magic could happen, some magical thing. That would be dope. But, my mind ain't set on a Super Bowl this year. My mind is just hopefully making it to the playoffs and looking good, making it competitive with teams and figuring out who's the franchise quarterback for the, future. That's what I'm focusing on the most this year. Not focusing on, making it to the Super Bowl just because we don't know who we have on the roster that we're going to, possibly not need and who we're going to really need to step up and who's going to be that next guy, right? Little Roy in the chat said we will be adding Justin Simmons. That would be nice if we could, but we'll see.
Hopefully, he actually comes here this time. It doesn't go to Carolina.
Yeah, he decided to go to the Falcons, and he can go anywhere that he wants to. So it is what it is. I wouldn't mind adding Justin Simmons though, but at the same time, he's getting older as well. Everybody's getting older, man. But let's get back to the offense. That I was talking about, like impactful players, right? So you already heard me talk about the offensive line. You already heard me talk about Bud Means. So let me bring the thing back up for us. So Bud Means was already one I talked about. You can pick any of these players. Which one you want to talk about next? I did talk about Bud Means and Hoker. I forgot. I did talk about Hoker.
All right. So you talked about Means and Hoker already.
Yeah, talked about those two already.
All right, that's Kendrick. Let's talk about some Kendrick Miller.
All right, let's talk about him. Tell me what he needs to do to make a big impact this year.
So, Kendrick Miller, right? I think the number one thing that everybody is saying is stay healthy, and that's true. But look, let's also not pretend that whenever he is healthy, he's not making big plays. Like, do y'all remember that Atlanta touchdown that he scored a couple years ago, and that boy was like at the 5 yard line, but still stretched over the plane. So like Kendrick Miller's athletic, man. So I think what he can do to impact this offense is just play his role, man. Just like be a younger version of Kamara. To be honest, just catch passes out of the backfield, and if Kamara needs a break, go in there and do your thing. And also what Kendrick also needs to do, like we said, get better condition. But also, I want to see him run with some fire. Like I don't want him just running like he's freaking Jamal Williams about to pee his pants. I want him to run with some fire.
I mean, to be honest with you, he showed you last year. When he's on the field, he runs hard and he knows what he's doing. Like he's very athletic and he looks like he shows you a lot of potential. But then he gets hurt and he's not there to show you anymore, right? So it kind of sucks. So I think the number one thing for Kendrick Miller just to make the biggest impact is just being healthy because his talent is there. Everybody says it. The talent is there. But can you stay healthy? Because this is where the next guy comes into play, right? Mm-hmm. If Kendrick Miller doesn't stay healthy, and you already know we got two other veterans that are trying out and trying to make the roster as well, and Cam Akers and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, guess what happened with them three? Him and them three and Kendrick Miller, guess what happened with those three? They all injury prone right now. They all can't stay healthy. They all kind of ruin their own careers just not being able to stay healthy. So this is where that other guy comes in by the name of Devin Neal. He would have an easy opportunity this year to take that running back 2 spot if he just comes out and performs like Kendrick Miller's doing, but just don't get injured, And Devin Neal's not known to be an injury-prone guy so far, especially from college. So I just can't wait to see who's going to take that running back 2 spot. I think when I talk to a lot of people, they still think it's going to be Kendrick Miller's job to lose right now. You got to be there, you got to be healthy. But other than that, they saying running back 3 is easily up for grabs. Would it be Devin Neal? Would it be Clyde? Or would it be Cam Akers? Now, I did hear a lot of other, YouTubers saying Cam Akers, Wars, and this and that. But I don't know if y'all watched him, though. He cooked the Saints. He cooked some other people as well. Cam Akers is not a bad running back at all. When he's healthy, he's like Kendrick Miller. He's making an impact. When he's not healthy, he's just like Kendrick Miller. He's on the sideline because he's not healthy. So Devin Neal, though, is one of those players that when you look at his tape, he's just a downhill runner, and he just, very elusiveness too. Like he can, fit through the tiny holes and all that. And to be honest with you, Devin Neal kind of gives me a little vision of Kendrick Miller a little bit, like their play styles are like basically kind of like similar to me. But the question is, who's gonna stay healthy? Who wants that number 2 spot the best? Because what's the best ability?
Availability.
That's what I'm talking about. So who's going to stay healthy and who wants that running back 2 spot behind Alvin Kamara? We do not know, right? But let's move on to the guy right in the middle of the chart, man. The one that just got his fully guaranteed contract that everybody's pointing towards of being the starting quarterback, especially being drafted by Kellen Moore. This is a Kellen Moore guy getting the fully guaranteed contract. So tell me what you think of him, man. Tell me what you think about Tyler Sutton, what you think he needs to do this season as a rookie to make a big impact, to make sure we don't get, no 2 to 5 win seasons. We get more than that.
Well, yeah. Well, before I answer that question, I want to tell you something. So, a couple weeks ago, right, someone that I'm not really gonna name drop him. I mean, I'm not gonna like diss him or anything, but like, there's a YouTuber that made a video of him predicting like different awards, and he said he made up his own award called the biggest bust of the year, and Tyler Shuck was the winner of that. And I'm looking at that, I'm like, okay, so like people are extremely down on Tyler Shuck for whatever reason, but if you look at it, Tyler Shuck is actually in a better position than a lot of other quarterbacks that are in their rookie season. Shuck is working with an offensive-minded Kellen Moore who used to play quarterback. He's working with lots of young, but also lots of veterans, right? He has Chris Olave to throw the ball to, Rashid Shaheed, Brandon Cooks, Juwan Johnson, Kamara can catch a passes. So, like, all Tyler Shuck has to do is be patient. Like, shout out to Dolph, he said this too. He has to learn when to throw it and when not to throw it. Because I would rather take a sack than an interception. Okay, like, So like Tyler Shuck, he has to learn, and what I've noticed about him when I watch college film is that he can be a little panicky sometimes, but he has to know, right? There's always always fight for that. There's always what's the saying? Like play till you play for another down. I don't know, something like that. Like always remember, right? The game is not decided on one play. So like you have to learn to just keep your posture, because this is the NFL now. This ain't You ain't playing against a freaking defense of Michigan or Miami. You're playing the defenses of the Carolina Panthers, of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, playing the defense of the Arizona Cardinals. You gotta know, okay, these are professionals, but now I'm a professional. So I gotta use my eyes and see who's open. And Tyler Shuck, if he does that, I think we'll be a successful quarterback in this league.
Okay. And what you think about his mobile ability? Be able to run out of the pocket and stuff. Like how good of a escape artist you think he is? 'Cause, I mean, looking at some of his highlights, it looks like he knows how to run too, right?
Yeah, Shuck. I wouldn't really call Shuck like a mobile QB, but I would not call him a statue either. Like Shuck. Okay, so he kind of reminds me of a Patrick Mahomes, and before y'all no, I'm not comparing him to Mahomes. Hear me out. He, so if y'all watch Patrick Mahomes play, he knows, he is not reliant on his rushing ability, but he will when he has to. That's what Tyler Shuck is to me. He's a guy where it's he tries to be a pocket passer number one, but if no one's open and he's got time, or time's running out, then he knows where to use his feet. Like running the ball can get you a lot of good things. Like it can get you yards, touchdowns, but it also can prove that you're not scared to run the ball. We all like guys like Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers, Joe Montana, guys that were legends by their own, but once in a lifetime, you get the Michael Vick, you get the Lamar Jackson, guys who is you don't really guys that are somewhat good at doing both. And Tyler Shuck, I'm not gonna say he's on their level of rushing, but I will say Tyler Shuck, he's mobile in the sense where he knows where to. That's what I really liked about him. He's not just gonna sit there and take a sack, because yes, the sack is better than a pick. He's not just gonna sit there and take it. If the defensive line is coming in, he knows where to run. That's what I like about him. So I hope we see some of that this season.
Oh, for sure. To be honest with you, it does kind of. He does kind of give you like a Mahomes kind of guy, because like how you said, he barely uses his legs unless he needs to, for an emergency. And you watch Tyler Shuck, and that's how he can do it. But another person that you can kind of miss and uses their legs when they have to make plays. I mean, Joe Burrow is one of those guys, can make a play when you really need to, but most of the time he's going to sit in there and try to tear you apart with his arm talent, which Tyler Shucks, that all these media people keep saying that Tyler Shucks does have a really good arm talent, and even Gruden even said it, that he loves his arm talent and all that. And the good thing is when he got interviewed with Gruden the other day, Gruden even asked him and was like, what is something that you need to that you feel like you need to work on, and the dude already knows what he feels like he needs to work on. He knows what his strengths are and what's his weaknesses. So that's a good thing to hear, because some people come out of college, come to the NFL, and they think they just good at everything, but at least he says, I know where I stand, I know where I need to work on some things and stuff like that. So that was a good interview, by the way, by Gruden with Tyler Shucks as well. But speaking of that, we're thinking he's going to be the starter. Let's say he's not the starter this year. Somehow Spencer Rattler beats him out. Now the question is, what does Spencer Rattler got to do to make a big impact for you? Because remember last year, he didn't win no games as a starter, but he didn't have the team around him either.
Yeah, Spencer Rattler coming out of South Carolina, I'm pretty sure he got Oklahoma as well when Caleb Williams was there. Look, what I like, because everybody wanted to point out of how he's super cocky because of this one scene on this freaking TV show. It's look, bruh, I understand that wasn't the best example, but at the same time, bruh, if you compare his high school days to his professional days, They're like you wouldn't even think it's the same guy. Okay, so I'm sorry, but that's just it. Like, and also Rattler, I will say, last season he showed us moments. Like, y'all remember that Washington game when Stinky Poo Poo Jake Hayner started? Um, Hayner got benched after going down 17-0, and Rattler had us one play from winning that game, man. So I'm like, y'all may like a lot of people that don't like Rattler because I don't know, maybe they're just allergic to snakes or something. People that don't like Rattler, look, he's just like Tyler Shuck in my opinion. He had to go through adversity. I think Shuck went through more of an adversity, getting hurt over and over, but Spencer Rattler went through adversity too in college. He thought he was this big jock, and then he got benched for Caleb Williams. So he went from being a number 1 overall pick to being in the 5th round at pick 150. So both of these guys overcame something, and I understand, right? We don't have the veteran leader. Look, like I said earlier, I feel like Kellen Moore is the veteran quarterback as being the head coach because he used to be the quarterback. So, I think, Spencer Rattler, I think, him and Tyler Shuck are made of the same bond. Like, they both know what it takes to come through some struggles. And I think, Rattler from last season with with MVS and Kevin Austin Jr. being his top 2 receivers, he did pretty well. I understand winning. Look, wins are not QB stat. I'm tired of people acting like there is. But I understand. Didn't win a single game. Blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Like, bruh, Derek Carr didn't win that many games. Jameis, when he was here the other year, like a couple years ago, he didn't win too many games. But Drew Brees, right? When there was a couple years where we would only win 7 games, and yeah, he's still one of the best quarterbacks of all time. So I ain't trying to hear all this no wins, bruh. Man, take that to somebody else that actually wants to hear it.
Okay. By the way, Jotavius in the chat said Justin Reed might be our next Tyrann Mathieu. You never know, and that's what we spoke a little bit about earlier. Hurricane Mike. If you look at a guy like Justin Reed, a Louisiana homeboy, actually played for the Texans, the Cardinals, and not the Cardinals. He played for the Texans, the Chiefs, and the Saints. Now, kind of like played for almost the same amount of teams that Tyrann Mathieu did. So what did you think about Justin Reed? Like, do you feel like he could be the next Tyrann Mathieu? I mean, to me, I think he could because he is very talented at the safety position, and he helped the Chiefs win another Super Bowl too.
Yeah, Justin Reed. I remember when we signed him. Because the Saints, every offseason they sign a bunch of depth pieces, but they always sign that one big guy, like big superstar type of guy or superstar caliber. I think that was Justin Reed. Justin Reed, right? He's a little cocky from his Kansas City days. I will say that because I've seen some moments where he could be cocky. But hey, I like cockiness. Okay, fight me. I don't care. Justin Reed, though, when he signed him and I started looking at film, and I'm like, this guy's literally Tyrann Mathieu in a different body, bro. It's like he's a hard hitter, And Tyrann Mathieu over the years has kind of declined when it comes to the hitting somewhat. I mean, he was still a hard hitter, but back in Kansas City, whew. But Justin Reed, right? I was watching him a little bit, even in Houston, and obviously with the Chiefs or whatnot. He was pretty good, man. And I think he was literally Tyrann Mathieu. Justin Reed was a guy that can play basically at any part of the field that you want him to. Justin Reed is a hard hitter. Justin Reed can talk that smack. And one thing Justin Reed is, he's a winner. Okay. I understand. He played for the Chiefs. We got Mahomes. He's a winner, dang it. Okay, so, yeah, Justin Reed is our new number 1 safety, and you can probably make an argument that was going to be our number 1 safety regardless, Mathieu. That's an argument that's up there. But now he's officially the leader in the safety room, because who else are you going to rely on to be the leader? Like Jordan Howden, Sanker, Davison. Like, I'm sorry, but these guys are freshly new to the league. So Justin Reed has a big responsibility. Like, he already had a responsibility going into the season, but after Tyrann Mathieu retired, that responsibility is getting even more wider.
100%. What you think about this right here? A defensive impactful play. We talked a little bit about some people yesterday, but today so far we haven't covered anybody. So let's talk about we already talked about Justin Reed just now, about what we think he's going to do to make an impact as a veteran. So we can skip him. But what do you think about another veteran guy like Chase Young, who had a lot of good pressure last year, right? Made a lot of pressure, just wasn't able to finish, like with the sacks and stuff. So do you expect him to have a big leap year this year? And me, I say yes, especially in this type of defense that Stanley's going to be running for him.
Look, I don't really think Chase Young is going to get a lot of sacks this year because that's not the type of guy he is. And I understand he changed his defensive scheme. But I think, even if Chase Young gets 3 sacks this year, I think that will still be a good year for him because, the most sacks he ever got was 7.5. And, Chase Young, he can affect the game in so many other ways than just sacks, okay? I understand. Sack, man. The experts only care about the sacks. If you get 2 sacks but 75 tackles for losses, they don't care. As long as the sacks are up, then that's what matters. But also, you got to realize that there's more to the game than just sacks. And I'm not saying sacks don't matter, as the Saints got some key sacks. But if you go look at Chase Young, most of his highlights came in big moments, right? Like against Atlanta. I think it might have been the game we lost, but it was 2nd and 20 or something, and Chase Young single-handedly took them out of field goal range, all right, or at least at the edge of it. And against Washington, man, he had 2 sacks that game. So Chase Young can get to the quarterback. He was top 10 in pressures for crying out loud. Chase Young, he was defensive rookie of the year in Washington. Played some good years there. Went to San Francisco. Played in the Super Bowl, where he would obviously be one of the victims to Patrick Mahomes. But other than that, Chase Young's had a pretty solid career, and I feel like he's probably the most underrated guy on our Saints on our team. Probably, he's up there. And I think a lot of people are saying you overpaid him. I think we paid him just right because Chase Young is not a sack merchant. Okay, he's not like a T.J. Watt where he gets 20 freaking sacks, bro. He's not that. He's Chase Young, and he's gonna keep being Chase Young. And by the time the Saints are a good team, he's gonna be Chase old, but for now, got Chase Young. So yeah.
Alrighty then. Also, you got Rose City in the chat. He said, I seen people on Twitter say that Honey Badger looked at this team and said, "No, I'm good." It's funny, but it's funny, but not. I don't think the Saints would be that bad. Yeah, the Saints ain't gonna be that bad. People are just being a little dramatic. That's just my thoughts. I think people are just being a little dramatic because they said Tyrann Mathieu left. Because if you really think about it, you think he looked at the team this year and said, "Oh shit, no, I don't want to be here." When you looked at the team he played for last year, you're like, "Come on now." No way.
And also, why would it take him this long to retire if that was the case?
I think what it is just it's just he did enough in the league and he just had a newborn baby. I think that made a big impact on him wanting to retire to be there for his family and for the newborn. Also, let's go back to that list, right, and start looking at some more defensive players. What about a guy like Danny Stutzman to you, man? That's everybody's favorite player this year, ready to talk about. So give me some stuff on Danny Stutzman and what he can do to make an impact this year.
Well, look, man, Danny Stutzman's an athlete, right? At Oklahoma, he was one of the best linebackers in the entire country. I'm pretty sure he won an award for that too. So, Danny Stutzman, right? Danny Stutzman is a question mark. He could either be the best player of all time or he could be the worst player to ever pick up a pair of cleats. We don't know. He hasn't played yet. Danny Stutzman, I will say, has a big opportunity because the linebacker room is weak. Other than DeMario and P. Werner, who's going to be that third guy? You don't got Willie Gay no more. You don't got Anthony Orey no more. You got Jalen Ford, but he's coming off of an injury. So, who's going to be that third guy? Danny Stutzman is up. He's up, man. It's now or never with Stutzman. A lot of people are already crowning him the king of New Orleans. I'm away on that. I wasn't too high to pick at the time, but I'm like, okay. I think, he could be somewhat good because, but Danny Stutzman as a Saint, look, as long as he tackled good, I'm okay with that, okay?
Well,
because the amount of missed tackles we had last season made me want to rip my eyes out.
Well, you might want to go look up some Danny Stutzman's highlights and see how good. Some people was projecting him to go higher than what we got him at. So what they said, where we got him at in the draft was a steal. And, yeah, he's a tackling machine. Him and Jonas Sinker are the two, basically, steals of the draft besides Devin Neal. But Other than Devin Neal falling all the way to the 6th round, they said that the sinker and the Danny Stutzman pick was steals because those are some certified tacklers. Should have been drafted higher, but wound up falling to us as people was just taking other players, and that's going to be amazing for us. And if y'all haven't already, my boy KAJ actually interviewed Sinker. So if y'all want to go see that video on his podcast, go watch it and listen to the Sinker conversation. It was really good. Speaking of Sinker, he was another player on that list. Man, what you think about a safety like Jonas Sinker, who is a certified tackler?
Yeah, Sanker, after the Mathieu news, Sanker's going to have to play a big role, With Jonas Sanker, I was high on him. I thought Jonas Sanker was at least a 2nd round pick. We ended up getting him in the 3rd round. I think that was the Washington pick that we got for Lattimore. I don't think that was our own. So look, Sanker, I think, if Sanker can turn out to be good, people may not want to talk about it, but I think the Saints might have won the Marshawn Lattimore trade. But hey, that's a different talk for another day. But Jonas Sanker, I think, has potential to be kind of like, he kind of reminds me of like, I don't know. Yeah, I gotta look at, like, I looked at him, but I still gotta see more before I give like my NFL comparison. But like Jonas Sanker, he kind of reminds me of like a Minka Fitzpatrick, though. I'll say that, a guy that can make incredible tackles and a guy that is also not afraid to pick the ball off. At least I hope that's what he does this season. So Sanker, look, as long as he sinks some NFL offenses, then that'll be the best sank I've ever seen.
I mean, according to Logan, my guy Logan, shout out to him, who might, be able to make it later tonight. So maybe we'll do another podcast, later tonight as well. But yes, when I was talking to Logan yesterday, and I believe shout out to Who That Davis, I think they both were saying about Sanker having really great closing speed, as a safety. And that's why they said he's going to turn out to be really good, because the pass might look like it's open, but he's going to use that closing speed on you to get a pick, or the a closing speed to close up the gap and get those tackles that we need. Like we said, and who Sanker's giving me a little bit of vibes from, with his tackling skills and his closing speed. Who was somebody that was a certified tackler and that wasn't afraid to contact and had really good speed, that always used to talk shit to people?
C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Yep, that's what he's reminding me of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Just one of them people that you can just put in there and just get you a certified tackle, bro. I wish we had C.J. Gardner-Johnson, bro. Still on the team. But it is what it is. Congrats to C.J., by the way, getting a ring with the Eagles. So shout out to him on winning.
Did you hear what he said about the Eagles when he got traded?
The
Eagles will never win a Super Bowl as long as C.J.'s not there. That's what he said, word by word. Bruh. The Eagles, like, I understand this ain't an Eagles podcast, but like with C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he managed to get the Eagles fans rallied up every Sunday, to then Eagle fans hated him when he left, to then Eagle fans loving him again, to then probably going to hate him again. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, he is an energy guy. He is the one that's going to keep those people in the locker room, especially his teammates, pumped up and ready to go, man. And ready to fight for one another. That's the kind of guy he is. He gets you pumped up. And he makes the fans and the crowd even, more excited when they see him out on the field. He's just one of those electrifying players, that you just want to see on your roster. But, unfortunately, they want to pay him what he wanted. We let him go. And, it is what it is. It's kind of just like Zach Barn. Just like Zach Barn, bro. Great linebacker. But we let him go because we didn't put him in the right position to play. Unfortunately, that's what happens in the NFL sometimes. You get people, you put them out of position, and they don't work out. You let them go, and then they become in the position that they're supposed to play, and they become amazing, right? It is what it is.
New Orleans teams. Something about these New Orleans teams where they just don't know what they're doing when they're here, then they leave, and they're an all-pro. Like, even not just the Saints. Like, bro, Dyson Daniels, when he was with the Pelicans, I thought this guy was a bum, but then he goes to Atlanta, and now he's the most improved player of the year. I know he's up for it. Crazy, man, right?
It is what it is. Something about the New Orleans, voodoo. I don't know what it is. Something. We need to go find out who the hell's got them voodoos, and we gotta destroy them immediately.
We did something bad in our past. We did something terrible in our past life that God is just not a fan of, apparently, because our guys can't stay healthy. Our guys can't ever. Our guys got to go somewhere else to be great. Like, our coaches have to be brain dead. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, Kellen Moore does not follow in that footsteps.
So I'm gonna bring up this hit again. What about a guy like Quincy Riley? With the departure of Lattimore last year being traded, and Adebo going to the Giants this offseason, at least you just left Kool-Aid McKinstry, and it leaves you with Alante Taylor. Now, the other thing is, we can't forget about Rico Payton as well, who was, doing really good last year as an undrafted free agent. And I think he's somebody we might want to look at too. But, looking at it now, I just got Quincy Riley because he is a draft pick that we picked this year. What do you see Quincy Riley doing to be able to make a big impact this year? What do you see him doing?
Look, Quincy Riley, right? I was actually a big fan of him too. Coming out of Louisville, I think Quincy Riley, what he can do to help this team, because if I had to predict it, I think Alante and Kool-Aid are going to get the first 2 spots at corner, and then the third one's up for grabs. Whether it's going to be Uncle Rico, whether it's going to be that boy Quincy from Another Mother Riley. I think Quincy Riley, though, in order to make an impact for the Saints defense, he's just going to have to, be a rookie but have the mind of a veteran. He's going to have to study offenses, and also he's going to have to break up. He's going to have to. What I liked about Quincy Riley is that he was able to break up passes with ease. So as long as he keeps doing that, and and he keeps doing that, and I think we'll be straight, man. But like I said about Danny Stutzman, Quincy Riley's a big question mark because we haven't seen him play. Quincy Riley could either be the best player of all time, or he could be the worst player to even smell the football field. We don't know. So, yeah.
Is there any players that we maybe not missing yet, that we haven't missing on the defensive side or offensive side that you thinking of that be like, okay, this person can have a big impact this year?
Well, on defensively, I think Pete Werner could probably honestly be in the top 10 defensive player of the year conversations.
Okay. Give me a reason why you think he'll be one of those.
Because, this guy, now he's probably not going to get the votes because he doesn't have the name value. But to be fair, Bolton didn't really have the name value until he went to Philly. But Pete Werner, he punches football out of your arm. That's one. That man tackles with ease. That man, I think it was it wasn't even on defense. I think a couple punts. That man was flying down the field. That man has breakaway speed. Just imagine Tyreek Hill if he was on defense and a bigger body. That's basically what Pete Werner is. He was flying down the field. And also, Pete Werner, he has the mind of a Luke Kuechly, if y'all remember who Luke Kuechly was, which I'm sure everyone does. He studies. I know that man studies. He knows what the offense is running. And for anybody saying, I trade Pete, first of all, that's not going to happen because we extended him for a reason. Second of all, Pete Werner, if we didn't have Pete Werner, our defense would have been from mid to terrible, bro. Pete Werner was single-handedly the only guy that cared about tackling last season. You had it was him and it was Paulson Adebo. Those were the only 2 guys that would get tackles like crazy. The other guys, DeMario would somewhat tackle, but I don't know what. I don't know. The entire defense just fell apart last season. But Pete Werner was one of those. Right. So if the Saints are doing well and Pete Werner's doing well, I think you could see Pete running up for Defensive Player of the Year. Now, I'm not going to say he's going to get it, but that's my hot take of the year. Pete Werner's going to be top 10 for Defensive Player of the Year conversations.
Okay. And what you think of Jatavius' comment right here? Quincy Riley gives me Trevon Diggs vibes. He's fast and a ball-hawk cornerback.
There's also something wrong with that take. Trevon Diggs gets burnt like he's a freaking toaster strudel. So, yeah, they're good. But if you're getting 6 interceptions and allowing 6 touchdowns, that ain't really doing much for me. I'm sorry, but so I don't know. Maybe maybe he can do the ball hawk part, but not get burnt. Because like, or even Chris Olave, and no shade on Chris Olave, but Chris Olave is a pretty good receiver. But even Olave was putting Trevon Diggs in the shredder, and made him a freaking cornball, bro. It's crazy. So.
Damn, just roasted him.
Yeah.
Any other players you could think of that we just haven't mentioned yet? Like, that might be younger, or even if they're not younger, they might have been a player that might have been here for like a year or two that could take that big leap. Like some people, I remember mentioning yesterday, some people was possibly saying maybe a guy like Brian Breesy, could he take a big leap again this year? Because last year he took another leap. Like he looked really good as that nose tackle, and I think he's got the most sacks as a Saints, as a nose tackle, because like we never really had nose tackles getting sacks like that, and he was actually getting sacks and getting pressure. So what do you think about Brian Breesy? You see him maybe taking another leap?
Well, Brian Breesy, like the thing that he struggles with is the run game, which I don't know how. Like he's literally a nose tackle but backwards. Like, I don't know. Maybe he's an ear tackle because this man at nose tackle you cannot. Bro, at nose tackle, usually the nose tackles be stopping a run, but not getting that many sacks. But nah, he's like, nah, I'm the nose tackle from the alternate universe where he gets all the sacks, but don't really tackle during the run. So I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, like Brian Breesy, I think the only thing he has to really work on is tackle. Like, look, I want to see him in more special teams plays too. Personally, if he's doing that Brian Breesy block that he did against the Giants, I want to see him do that more times. That was crazy. But yeah, Brian Breesy, look, he's a stud, man. Like we can, and if y'all might not want to do it, but y'all gotta thank Sean Payton for Brian Breesy. Because without Payton, if we never got that first round pick from Sean Payton, Brian Breesy might be tearing it up in Denver instead.
He could have.
Because we were not going to get him in the second round. I'm sorry, that was not happening.
I'm trying to think of some other players, like young players wise. What are you thinking about? You know what? Who we didn't really mention as much. What about a guy like Juwan Johnson? Who's Kellen Moore said he loves him, and that's why he signed into a 3-year deal. And he loves his tight ends too, so maybe we'll see a little bit more out of him this year.
Yeah, Juwan Johnson, bro, it's like he is super underappreciated. Like, a lot of Saints fans don't like him, and I don't know why. Like, Juwan Johnson is consistent. Like, he's not in the George Kittle conversation or the Travis Kelce conversation, but he gets touchdowns. Are y'all just gonna forget in 2022 when Chris Olave was fully healthy? Okay, so. It's not that we didn't have receivers. Nah, he was healthy. Kamara was healthy for the most part. Like, we had receivers, but yeah, Juwan Johnson was the guy that led us to touchdowns. Like, Johnson is a pretty solid tight end that he gets open. He's a run blocker. Like, Juwan Johnson reminds me of like a Pat Fryer move. In my eyes, it's like Pat Fryer move.
I mean, just to tell you, Juwan Johnson, because I pulled it up to see. So in 2020 was when he came to the team, as that undrafted guy. Didn't really do nothing, only 4 catches and 39 yards, averaged about 9.8 yards per catch. 2021, he got more touches, he got the receiver 13 times for 159 yards, averaging about 12 yards per catch, for 4 TDs. In 2022, like you said, is where he made a bigger leap, where he made 42 catches for 508 yards for 12 yards per catch and 7 TDs that year. And then 2023 came around, stayed almost the same, 37 receiving receptions, so 5 less, but a little bit less yards, 368 yards, averaging about 9 yards per catch with 4 TDs. And then in 2024, he had 50 catches, which was the most catches he ever had as a tight end. 50 catches, 548 yards, averaging about 11 yards per catch and 3 TDs. So every year, besides his rookie year where he didn't really get no touches, but after that when they started involving him, he gets at least 3 touchdowns a year.
Yeah, Juwan Johnson, like, he's Mr. Consistency. Like, Juwan Johnson, he's not a bad tight end like people think he is. Like, Juwan, really, if you want to talk about it, was our best offensive weapon last year.
Who that, T-Mama?
Yeah, it's up to Mama. But other than MVS having his freaking insanity run, where he had like five catches for 3 touchdowns or whatever it was. Other than that, Juwan Johnson was really our best offensive weapon last year with Olave getting hurt, Shaheed getting hurt. Kamara was Kamara, but like Juwan Johnson's probably our best receiving weapon. Like our entire tight end room last year, if we did not have the tight ends that we had last year, the Saints would have been the first overall pick. I'm telling you that right now. Bro, man, we should thank them tight ends Bro, we should thank our tight end room last year every night we go to bed, bro.
Hey, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you this question, on what Jotavia says, and while you talk about it, I'm gonna go switch my clothes. I gotta put those in the dryer, and I'm gonna grab me something real quick. So I'll probably be like a couple minutes, not too long. So if you can, hold it up for me and talk to everybody. But and answer this about Jotavia. He said, I like Alontae Taylor. Y'all need to put him in the slide. He plays better in the slide. So what do you think about Alontae Taylor? And also answer this question for me too. For everybody, what do you think about Alontae Taylor actually becoming the guy now as your corner? Like, he's literally the veteran because he's been there for a couple of years now, while all the other veterans that was there before him, like a Debo and all of that, are all gone now. So what do you think about him being the veteran as our cornerback room?
Well, yeah, Alontae Taylor. Look, I just want him in the slot too. Alontae Taylor's a dog, right? Other than that one season he had where he started getting benched and stuff, look, he's a dog, bro. Like, but also I want to see him on more blitzes as well, because if y'all remember, Alontae Taylor last season in the opener had 3 sacks. So I want to see Taylor get more blitzing attempts, more slot attempts, and I want to see how he does in the new defensive system, and also with him being the veteran. It's like, yeah, I mean, he's not the veteran guy that you would want to have, but he's a veteran guy that you kind of need at this point. Like, Kool-Aid McKinstry, someone needs to mentor him. You got no more Lattimore, no Debo. So yeah, Alontae Taylor is that guy now, and he has to be the guy, or else Saints fans are gonna go crazy. But yeah, and also if Alontae Taylor ends up being a stud like we think he might be, the Lattimore trade might be won by the Saints. But anyways, continue on with this conversation. Yeah, Alontae Taylor is probably one of the best slot corners and like one of the best nickelbacks, to be honest with you. But yeah, he can play the slot as well. Like most of his plays last season, I don't really know if it was in the slot, but like most of the plays that he had when he was in the slot were good plays. I think that was 2022 or 2023 was in the slot. It's one of those. But yeah, Alontae Taylor, look, he's going to be that type of guy. He's a second-round pick, so it's either now or never. And if we let him go next year, then our veterans are going to be Kool-Aid McKinstry unless we pick somebody else up. And we'll see how that plays. But yeah, Alontae Taylor, man, he has to be the GOAT. I hope. I really do. But yeah, Alontae Taylor, he's gonna be that. He's gonna be a demon. I'm telling you, man. Like, I want to see him on more blitzes. I want to see him on more slot attempts. I even want to see him in man and zone. I want to see how he does in the new defensive system. Yeah, I heard me. Yeah, I said it right now. Brandon says gonna transform him. He's gonna be the GOAT, boy. I'm telling you, he's gonna be the GOAT.
All right, what you been sipping on? What you been drinking on, buddy?
Some Kool-Aid.
I knew it. Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Nah, I really got Kool-Aid in this cup. That's funny. That's funny.
But yeah, I'm back now.
Oh, that's nice.
So shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Make sure y'all hit the like button or hit the sub button if you are new to the channel. But yes, I'm trying to think of some other young players that could make an impact. Who could make a good impact, especially like a young player?
Christian Boyd.
Christian Boyd, yeah. Nose tackle. Yeah, he could.
You got Rico Payton. You got
You know who can make an impact this year?
Huh?
I got somebody that can make an impact this year.
Who?
Blake Groupie. Be more consistent this year on your kicks.
Yeah, I mean,
Become,
I have Blake Groupie in my top 10 Saints players.
Yeah. How about he becomes that guy?
Yeah. Like, Blake Groupie, right? He had an interesting start. Like his rookie year, he wasn't that good to be honest. But then the second year came around, he was actually pretty solid, other than a couple kicks later down the line. Like Blake Groupie was a solid kicker, man. Like a lot of people are saying how Will Lutz, we should have kept him. But Will Lutz started we didn't even draft Will Lutz. That's the crazy part. It was actually I think the Ravens that took him, but I think they cut him or something, and then we picked him up for his rookie year. That was crazy. But yeah. Blake Groupie is he has to I think Blake Groupie in order for the Saints to be successful, he has to be a consistent kicker. He has to if we are down by 2 points and we need you to go make a 52-yard field goal for the win, you gotta make it. I don't care if they have 70,000 people in that stadium. You gotta make it.
Gotta make it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of somebody else that can be very impactful that we're just not thinking of. I bet you there's somebody on our roster that we're just not thinking of that could make a huge impact. See, trying to think of some names. You know what? We missing him earlier a little bit. Rico Payton. He started showing some promises last year as an undrafted free agent rookie.
Yeah, Rico, man. Something about the last name Payton.
Rico freaking Payton.
Yeah.
He was doing good last year.
Yeah, he's going to be the go-to. He's going to get 75 interceptions this year. I'm calling him.
That's the question. Would the Saints go after Asante Samuel?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. Training camp I think it started today. So, if the Saints, if they're going to sign Samuel, it is now. And I don't know if Samuel wants to go to Miami after what his dad said about him, but no.
Plus, I don't think we asked you this the other day. What do you think about Noah Fant being released by the Seahawks? Would you be interested in picking him up?
Noah Fant. It wouldn't be a bad option, but I think Noah Fant is essentially what Juwan Johnson is right now. It wouldn't be a bad option, but I think the Saints have too many tight ends as it is. I personally would probably stay away from Noah Fant. Look, opinions could change. The Saints could maybe sign him. But we'll just have to see on that. Noah Fant really is when he got drafted by Denver, he was pretty good, and then he went to Seattle and he was still solid with Geno Smith and them. But we'll see. So.
Yeah, I'm looking up his stats, for his career. So he mainly played with the Broncos for 3 and then 3 for the Seahawks. Only 2 years in Seattle. His first 2 years in Seattle was the only years that he had less than 500 yards, and then every other year he had it. So Broncos in 2019, 40 catches for 562 yards, 62 catches the next year for 673, 68 catches for 670 yards. Then he went to the Seahawks and got 50 catches for 486. 32 catches for 414, and then last year 48 yards. I said 48 yards. 48 catches for 500 yards, and only one touchdown.
48 yards. That's crazy.
48 catches.
Yeah, I get you. But yeah, Noah Fant, it was weird. I remember when he got traded in the Russell Wilson trade, if y'all remember, and I'm like, man, this man really went from having Drew Lock as his quarterback to Drew Lock as his quarterback. But then they chose Geno Smith over him, which was obviously the better decision. Yeah, Noah Fant, I think.
The one thing I will say, though, just to tell you about the Juwan Johnson, Noah Fant. Noah Fant would be your more consistent 500, 600-yard tight end every year. 40, 50 catches consistently. But he plays 6 full seasons, in the NFL. And has only 15 touchdowns. Juwan Johnson's only played 4 NFL seasons, and not all of them being full. And has 18 touchdowns already.
Yeah, look, I'm not gonna say that I would if Noah Fant signs, it's not gonna be the worst thing in the world. But what I will say is bro, we got Dalen Polker, we got Foster Moreau, we got Jawan Johnson, we got Jack Stoll. Like we got a crowded tight end room as it is. Plus we drafted that guy in the 7th round. So I think I would personally like, and plus, like I understand the Saints got money now. Just save some of the money. Like I don't really think other than like getting a guy like Asante Samuel, I don't really think the Saints really need to add anybody. Like I understand big body receivers. Honestly though, in my eyes, the big body receiver term is kind of a little overrated now. It's like, yeah, I understand it, but it's like, bro, like anybody can just go up and get it. Like I understand that anybody, like if you're 6 or if you're 5'2", you're not gonna go up and get a high ball. But it's like, bro, like we got Chris Olave who can go up and get it. We got Rashid Shaheed who also can go up and get it. Like, I've seen him make some catches as well. So like, I wouldn't really sign anybody at this moment other than like a guy like Asante Samuel. Like, cause we got good running backs, we got good receivers, we got a good tight end room. So I would just, hey, next season we got money. It is what it is.
Now, I never got to hear your thoughts on this. I never really asked you this question, so since you're on here, I'm going to ask you. What do you think about Kellen Moore this season? You know, what do you see from Kellen Moore? What do you expect him to bring to the table that other coaches didn't have?
Alright, so I ain't gonna lie, and those that were mainly watching the Keeping It Real Who That Sports podcast before we even hired Kellen Moore can testify what I'm about to say. Kellen Moore was always my number one guy. Okay? Even with Joe Brady out there, even with Mike McCarthy out there, who still is, even with a bunch of these guys out there, Kellen Moore was always my number one option. Okay? Like, you can go look up anything that I've said about Kellen Moore, it's mostly been positive. Kellen Moore is a guy that, in my opinion, is a player's coach. And Kellen Moore, I think, is going to, if you are a rookie QB, you want to coach like Kellen Moore. He's a guy that just won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. And, like, I understand people were like, oh, the Eagles had A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts. They had a Saquon. I understand that. But you also got to realize the Eagles' offense, since it's so easy to run their offense, why did they not win the Super Bowl until Kellen Moore got there? Like, bro, like in 2022, they had the same players minus Saquon Barkley, and they didn't go that far in the playoffs. 2023, yeah, they made the Super Bowl, but they lost to the team that Kellen Moore beat. So I'm just saying, like,
I have a question for you too. Sorry to cut you off. I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore is a running guy. Like he loves running the ball, but also he loves his tight ends, right? Do you see Alvin Kamara having his first 1,000 rushing yard season under Kellen Moore, under a quarterback, under a coaching staff that loves to run the ball?
Maybe. Well, I'm not gonna. I think with Alvin Kamara, I think he's reached his peak at this point. I don't really know if he's gonna get 1,000 yards. If I had a bet on it, I would probably say no because, like, I understand. He loves to run the ball, but like Kamara, he was in some pretty good systems, you know, with Sean Payton and like Clint Kubiak's system was alright, but it's like Kamara, I think he is what he is, you know, and that's not a bad thing. I think Kamara is a guy where it's like he's gonna get 8 to 900 receiving yards and at least 400 to 500 receiving yards. Like he's gonna get you 1,000 all-purpose yards. And he's even gonna catch a touchdown from Cedric Wilson Jr. versus Washington. So I think I wouldn't really bet on it with Kellen Moore coming here. Like I love Kellen Moore and I love Kamara as well. I think though the Saints are gonna rely heavy on the run game, but I don't think it's gonna be enough to get Kamara's 1,000-yard season. I think if he would have had 1,000 yards, he would have done it by now. So, you know.
I don't know. We will see, huh?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he always gave you at least like 800, 900 yards, you know? So, he's always been right there. So, I think with maybe a Kellen Moore offense, I think we could. Especially with no more Michael Thomas and all that. And a better, possibly, O-line, too. You know, with the way that they're working on that O-line. Going to get Kevin Banks this year.
Yep.
So, maybe this is the year we can finally see it. If he does it, that'd be great. Then people can't say he didn't have a 1,000-yard season in his career.
Technically, he has had a 1,000-yard season, just not by just rushing.
Yeah. Huh. I remember him almost having 1,000 and 1,000.
Yeah, like, bro, that 2020 season, bro, was probably the best season of Kamara's entire career, and he still didn't get 1,000 yards. So we'll just have to see. But it's crazy to think about when you think about Kamara's career. That so far, even though he is, I'm pretty sure the #1 rushing, like Kamara, I think has the record for the most rushing yards in a single career by the Saints, and he's never had 1,000 yards. That is kind of crazy to think about. That's how long he's played. That he was able to break the record, even though he's never rushed for 1,000 yards.
Nope. Eddie's one of the best receiving backs in the game still.
Yeah, like he kind of reminds me of like a Christian McCaffrey. In my eyes.
Yeah. Oh shit! Well, remember we said we were talking about Dallin Holker?
Yeah, what about him?
He just got waived, so we won't be seeing him at the time.
Okay, no fan. Well, what's your number? Bro, why? Bro, he's probably
Nick Underhill just posted. He said the Saints waived Dallin Holker, and a lot of people commented, "No."
Bro, bro, he barely played last season. That was crazy, bro.
I wonder why they don't see what we see in him.
It's like, bro, well, I don't know, man. Maybe he was hurt, so maybe that has something to do with it. But it's like, bro, we'll see, I guess. Holker could still make the team, though, because, he could always be brought back on the practice squad, and I think that's what the Saints probably will do, but we'll see.
We'll see, because if he gets waived and somebody piss him up, then you can't.
Don't put that bad juju on my life.
No, this being honest, that's what happens in the NFL.
Who gave you permission to be honest?
It's my podcast.
Okay. Right.
It's my podcast. I can be honest if I want.
Okay.
Alright. Give me a second. I'm trying to make a little picture thing and put it on my channel real quick for everybody, so they can see what I'm talking about, to where I'm not lying. Not saying that anybody thinks I'm lying, but
Hey, people think I lie every single day. Oh, how do you feel about Jimmy Graham retiring as a Saint?
That was good too.
Yeah, because I saw that this morning.
Give me a second.
A second I will give you.
Okay, why is it taking forever to load? Come on.
Because it's the internet. That's what the internet does.
There we go. Alright, we should be good now. Here we go, y'all. Just for y'all can know, the Saints waived Dallin Holker, a guy that I thought they were going to love and use at tight end from Colorado State. But he's going to make it right behind Jawan Johnson. He's just like the next George Kittle to me. And they just waived him.
Yeah. Hopefully he comes back on the practice squad as long as no one touches Holker, which I doubt he makes it through waivers. Holker is that talented. Someone, bro, Washington.
But the thing is, though, you don't have to waive people. Yeah, because you haven't been through preseason training camp or nothing. So why are you waiving somebody before training camp even starts? You haven't even seen the young man perform. Like you waive people before training camp just because you're not expecting him to be on your roster at all.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe they're seeing something out of Jack Stoll. Maybe that we're not seeing.
I really did like Dallin Holker. Like I said, he kind of reminded me of like a George Kittle kind of play style. That's who he kind of reminded me of.
But the Saints always do this. Y'all remember A.T. Perry? Bro, A.T. Perry was one of the best receivers on this damn team. And they got rid of him during the season. A year ago, that was crazy. Bruh, man, I hope this is not a sign to come. Like, what's next? Y'all from the You know, and I'm not even gonna put that out there because knowing the Saints, they will do whatever I say. So, well, if I say something bad, they'll do it. But if I say something like win the Super Bowl, they're not gonna do that. But if I say go 17, watch them go 17.
Damn. Well, okay. Now that we ain't talk about Dallin Hooker anymore because he's not there, so who do we see stepping up behind him now?
I think now the tight end room it's Johnson, it's Foster Moreau, and I think your third guy would be who? Jack Stoll, maybe Maliki Matavo. I think that's how you say his name. 7th-round pick out of UCLA. Maybe he steps up. This preseason is going to be huge for a lot of guys now. You know, now we got an open room at safety, open room at tight end, open room at corner, depending on the trajectory there. It's crazy, man. It's the end of an era. Bro, today's has been a wild day for the Saints. Like, usually they say the offseason is dry in June or July. But nah, the offseason's been crazy in June and July. And I'm not just saying that from, like, the Saints perspective. Like, bro, like, the beginning of July or the beginning of June, one or the other. Bro, you had, like, the Dolphins freaking trade Jalen Ramsey for Minka Fitzpatrick, and then they trade for Darren Waller. It's like, bro, what? I thought this was supposed to be the dry spell of the offseason. Crazy. And with the Saints, no more Tyrann. Bro, we had 4 players retire from the Saints this past offseason. That's crazy.
Well, the only good thing about Tyrann Mathieu retiring this season is that now they can't say we got the most aging defense. Now, I mean, you only got DeMario and Cam Jordan left. That's really the old folks on your team, Yeah. Because remember it was Tyrann Mathieu, DeMario, and Cam we said on that defense end. Because it's crazy how only 3 veteran players that's on your defense, and they're going to say that all people got to say about the Saints is, oh, they're not going to be good, they're an aging team. Like, did you really see all the young rebuilds we've been doing lately? We got a young head coach, young offensive staff. We got young quarterbacks, young running backs behind, Alvin Kamara, young receivers, young tight ends, young offensive line, young defensive line, young linebacker room now. Once tomorrow's gone, we really got a young linebacker room, young cornerback room, young safety room. So where are these people getting old?
Because they, for some reason, have to knock the Saints at something. And because the last couple of years, our best players have been on the older side of the ball. So they're like, y'all just the old folks home. They're acting like we're the freaking Los Angeles Clippers of the NFL. Crazy.
I really low-key want to know what's behind the scenes right now. Like, why did they release him?
Bro, can the Saints be put on Hard Knocks or something?
It says Saints transactions today. Taysom Hill and Foster Moreau on the PUP list. Dallin Hooker on the waived. And reserved/retired. And then the reserve/waived, Tyrann Mathieu.
Bruh, I totally forgot Foster Moreau's hurt too. So, bruh, if Foster Moreau goes into the season hurt, then our number 2 tight end will be Jack Stoll. That's crazy. Okay, you know what? Screw what I said. No offense. Come on. Bro, what is going on with the Saints, bro? Why can't we ever catch a freaking break, dude? Like, there's a lot of it wants to catch concussions, but we can't catch a break. That's crazy.
I'm gonna cry away.
I've been there.
The only other person I can think of is that draft pick we picked, out of UCLA.
Maliki Matavo, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, the tall guy.
Yeah.
Maybe they see a lot of him. Maybe they see a lot out of him more than Dallin Hooker. Maybe, I don't know.
Or maybe they're or maybe that means we're signing a fan or something. Maybe that means that they have like a deal in works to sign one of these tight ends that are available.
Jerry said, Mikey, you said it.
What did I say? I'm confused. Was it because I said 0-17?
Mikey, you said it. Jared, what did Mikey say? Warn us now.
I said a lot of things. All right, bro. I probably said like over 255 words already today, or on the show. So I don't know what I said. Was it that the Saints? If I say that Saints are going 0-17, they're going 0-17. Okay, what if I reverse it? Okay, Saints going 17-0, win the Super Bowl. Okay, maybe that will happen now. I don't know. But hey, a dreamer can dream.
Jared, what did he say? Jared.
I'm still confused. But to be fair, I'm always confused. Like, why am I cursed with having to root for a team that doesn't know talent when staring them in the face? Bro, I was getting ready to say in Joe Dumars we trust, bro. Now I'm getting my sports mixed up. That's crazy.
The crazy part is I was about to end the podcast soon, and then this comes up. Can't wait to see what else is going to happen today.
Bro, what if the Mario Davis ends up retiring in like 5 minutes?
Cam Jordan retires in 5 minutes. What the fudge?
Bro, what if like the show ends and then like 2 seconds later, breaking news: the Saints traded for Patrick Mahomes and they sent away 2020 and they sent away 10 first-round picks.
Well, at least we wouldn't need to worry about a quarterback for 10 years because you got Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, that's true. Or breaking news: the Saints are, bro, it's crazy. A lot of things can happen.
Well, the Nola Chop podcast, who that to you? Carter Great. He said, Brother Hoodie and Hurricane Mike was good family just getting off the road about to get called off all these breaking news from the Saints. Well, let me give you two of them. Tyrann Mathieu retired and Dallin Holker just got waived.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a few of them for you. Of course, I'm not going to lie. The Tyrann Mathieu kind of shot me take. I wasn't expecting him to retire anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I didn't even know he had a kid, so that could have probably.
And then Dallin Holker got waived out of someone. He was somebody who was talking to, talking about, taking a leap this year, and with Kellen Moore here and him loving tight ends, I was like, oh yeah, him and Dallin Holker are gonna get along just fine.
Oh, by the way, you saw Equinemi St. Brown finally signed somewhere?
Yeah, but he's doo-doo anyway.
Yeah, bro, he might not even make their team, to be honest with you. But hey, fun fact though, if he does somehow make the point on his team, week 2 he'll be coming back to the overrated food place. Bro, imagine Tyler Shuck just goes out and just blows the 49ers completely out of the water when Equinemi St. Brown is in the building. Crazy. Tyler Shuck blows everybody now.
That'll definitely be some motivation for sure.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, if we got money and we're gonna have money next year too, we got some money right now. If I'm the Saints, I'm looking at possibly trying to get back Trey Henderson if he wants a contract and Bengals don't want to work with him.
Yeah, look,
I would go after him I'll go after him in a heartbeat and bring him back to the New Orleans Saints.
I would love that. You know why? Because I do this show with someone named Kyle Phelps. Shout out to him. He's a big Bengals fan, right? And me and him, right? We do our podcast and whatnot. And every single time I'm like, every time we bring up Trey Hendrickson, he'll be like, man, like, thank you for Trey Hendrickson. So I would love to see that, just so I can be like, hey, thanks for Trey Hendrickson, by the way. That would be fun.
To get him back. Thank you for my guy back.
Yeah, it's like, bro, like, it's like, for example, a prime example, y'all probably saw, but Damian Lillard, right? He leaves Portland, goes to Milwaukee, and now he's in Portland again. So, something like that.
Carter Great said Trey Henderson will solve everything on our defensive line. Oh, for sure.
I'm not gonna say he's gonna solve everything, but it will definitely help because you need a whole team to solve everything. But he will definitely help us solve everything, I guess.
Shit, if
he goes to Atlanta, I'm burning Atlanta to the ground.
Or if Or if Carl Granderson, or if the Cowboys want to take forever to give Michael Parsons something, I don't mind taking Michael Parsons from them.
Yeah, I mean, did you hear that there's rumors about Jerry Jones possibly stepping down soon?
I haven't heard none of those rumors.
Well, yeah, apparently he considered it. Like, you know, I mean, he is 82 years old, and that's a real fact. So.
Yeah.
Bro, whenever Jerry Jones leaves, it's gonna be a sad day for us NFL fans.
Can't believe it.
I'm gonna go cry in the middle of the street.
It's okay. We're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Cause every little thing.
What if the Saints bring back Marcus Williams? What if they do that?
Wouldn't be bad, safety. Wouldn't be bad for a safety position, but a lot of Saints fans might be a little iffy about him.
A guy that I would have been okay with signing, but not no more, was C.J. Gardner-Johnson, because apparently the Saints are too dirty now. Man, shut your mouth. How about that?
Damn. So we can definitely have another podcast tonight and talk about the release of Dallin Holker, and also talk about Tyrann Mathieu again with people who wants to come and hop on and talk to us later. Just because the crowd ain't as big as it right now, because people's at work still, and I see Big Q just went live, so everybody's hopping on Big Q's right now. So we might just do another live later this evening about all of this as well. But shout out to everybody that's in here, man. Make sure y'all hit the like button if y'all haven't already. Make sure you hit the sub button as well if you are new to the channel, or if you're on the Twitter side. Make sure you hit that like button and the follow button for me and retweet this live so other people can tune on in with us as well. But Hurricane Mike, is there any other thing you want to talk about before we head out of here? And like I said, I'm gonna say some more talking and stuff for later tonight.
And that still sucks.
Yeah, and it sucks that Hoker left.
Yeah.
Damn.
And Tyrann Mathieu and Jimmy Grant.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, Jimmy wasn't on the team, but still sad to see him go like that.
Yeah, it does suck. But with that being said, y'all, I love y'all. We'll be back later for sure. Hopefully we can get Logan back on the podcast tonight as well to talk about the Holker situation, the Tyrann Mathieu retiring, and all of that. And if anything else comes up in between, we'll let you know on the next podcast later this evening. And if anybody else wanted to come on and talk tonight as well, we're gonna open up the lines again for everybody. But if you don't have anything else to do right now, go hop over to the Big Q show, the Sports Corner. He's on right now talking about the retirement and all. So go turn over in there and go show him some love and all that. And with that being said, y'all, I love y'all, and we'll speak again later this evening. Who that, baby?
Who that, man? Atlanta still sucks, and it will forever be that way.
You heard him.
Run it up, Panero. Say what they lie. Say what they lie. Say what they lie. Say what they lie. We screaming black and gold. We screaming black and gold. We screaming black and gold. We going to the bowl. We screaming black and gold. We screaming black and gold. We screaming black and gold. Saints going to the Super Bowl, talking black and gold. Young Nolan Hooded Jew wanna beat me like Chris Alive, AMT down the field.